Hey guys, what's going on? Once again, another episode of the Ultimate Guide, and today we'll be covering the Iron Keep.
So this is a long video, and get ready because there's a lot of fucking information here, but it's a good area.
Let's just clear something up first of all. This is the Iron Keep and Belfry Sol, so
Yep.
it's the two areas combined. Even though they're technically two separate areas, fuck up. They're putting them in the one video.
That item that you saw over there, those items will be covered at the end of the video. We'll show you the easy way of getting all those things, but all the lava related items. But for now, we're just going to do the Iron Keep without them in terms of just keeping pace.
So these are alone knights. Now these guys are very quick. You just basically back up, wait till they finish their attack and then hit them. What these guys drop is the black steel katana. It's okay. They can drop their full armor set, the alone knight set. They can also drop the alone great bow if they are the archers, and they can drop iron arrows if it's the archer version as well.
Well, great arrows.
Yeah, the great arrows, sorry.
Now remember, the prerequisite to this video is part 9, so if you're wondering why we have the halberd and not using the longsword, watch the last part and that will explain that, in case you missed out the last part.
And coming up is another NPC, the only NPC in this area, which I'm sure we're going to get to at any moment now.
We don't get to him at this point, it's when we come back. We don't use him at this specific point. Because for now, the first thing we're going to be doing is getting, aside from these first preliminary items, we're going to be getting the dull ember.
Yes.
That is by far our first main priority because we want to use the Dark Knight stone that we picked up in the last video.
And once again, shades of Dark Souls 1 here with 2 illusionary walls.
Yep.
But yeah, the whole reason for this is that you can fire the ballista at the back of the archer.
It doesn't even do that much damage as well, which is kind of strange.
Well, there's 3 knights in this room, so you got to be careful here. But the halberd has that really nice chop when you two-hand it. So don't be worried if you get like mobbed or anything like that. You do really good damage.
Yeah, the halberd is, the reason we picked the halberd is the weapon to move into for this area is because it does have good crowd control. Now, as you can see, we're doing like 3 hits to kill an alone knight, but by getting the dark ember and by using the dark knight stone, it be infused in our weapon and it pretty much turns all the enemies in this area into a 2-hit kill, which is pretty great. That's kind of what you want to be aiming for generally as you're playing Dark Souls. If you're in a 2-hit kill range for most of the enemies, then you're doing well.
Well, if you're in a 2-hit kill range for the humanoid enemies,
yeah,
any like the larger enemies, like for instance the old knights in Haid and stuff like that, you're not going to 2-hit kill them at the time you're supposed to go to that area. I don't even think I 2-hit kill them and I'm finished the game. I don't know.
So as you see, there was a bit of
alone leggings.
Now,
so this is tricky, this lever. This is just trial and error until you get the lever. You just basically wander around until the great bow shot's been fired, and then just try and get the lever as soon as you can. You need to pull this to lower the bridge.
Yeah.
And of course the reason for that is that you want that lowered so you can get to the other side and get the ember. Now don't go in that door because you'll get fucking fried.
Yeah, there's a switch that will turn off the inside of that area because it's on fire right now. So we're going to head back here because there's
just a couple of items.
Yeah, a couple of items that we want to pick up. It's actually a very handy ring that we end up using for the rest of the game here, so it is quite necessary. So there's a soul packet just there. Now you drop down to get that and then you climb up the ladder.
And that's going to take you up to the platform above where the archer is, and you can safely get rid of him because the archers are easy to deal with. Just a couple of hits from the halberd and boom, in the lava.
Now I guess what you probably should have done is got rid of that archer first so he's not shooting you while you're pulling that lever to lower the bridge. There you go, there's a life ring, and that's the one that we're going to use. So this pretty much just gives you a straight buff to your health.
Yeah, it's just a direct upgrade. We've got more health now, so you're just going to max that HP. Don't climb back down the ladder.
Yeah, because you need to jump down. Yeah,
you need to drop down from the other side. I don't know why they've decided to do that.
Now, something I'm going to mention just now is before we do the Smelter Demon, we're going to remember and tell you that the Smelter Demon is an optional boss. However, if you do the Smelter Demon, it gives you access to
another bonfire.
Yeah. Now, this enemy here, by the way, when you walk onto the bridge, sometimes he'll just move off to the left and fall off.
Yep.
So you don't necessarily need to fight him every single time, as you saw just there. And
this is the first alone captain that you'll meet. Now, the alone captain pretty much drops, he drops more or less the exact same as the regular alone knights, but he does drop the alone captain helmet and chest piece, which are just direct upgrades of the actual alone knight set.
Yeah, they've got really good fire defense.
Yep. They still drop the black steel katana, they still drop the alone great bow, and of course they drop monastery charm and destructive arrows.
So here's this jump. What you want to do is try and line up with the entrance to the doorway, because chances are if you do jump you end up just rolling off the edge. So there you saw we got the dull ember there, and we're going to quickly show you something now. Now at this point we would normally just be going back, but this is how you get back without using a like a Homer bone or whatever. Now there's a Faris contraption there. We're not going to use that just now because it doesn't directly lead to any new items and you don't actually need it. So we'll show you what that's useful for at the end of the video when we're getting the lava items, but otherwise you don't need it just now.
So once again, open the door, don't walk in because the fire's still there. We're going to take care of that right now. So now, this guy didn't fall into the lava like he normally does, instead he ended up over here, so you got to go ahead and kill him first. But this is what turns off the lava. It turns off like the actual kiln of the Iron Keep. And that will allow us now to safely drop down below and walk through the door, and what this does is it loops you back to the other side, that first door you opened. So it's quite handy.
Not only that, this way is how you... First, by the way, that fire there is
That's
a
glitch.
That
we don't know why.
Continuing.
No, not at all.
But
see, now it's went out.
Yeah, so if you turn the fire out in this area, this is how you skip the Smelter demon. Essentially, if you come up this way, you can climb up the ladder just in front of us here, and then that takes you to the next area.
Be careful, by the way, those two pillars on the left and right side of that walkway, if you hit them, they will blow up and fire will start billowing out of them. So that's just something to watch out for when you're fighting an alone captain on the bridge as well. Now this is the third alone captain who we're just going to skip because we don't need to touch him. We got the ember, that's all we wanted.
Now if you saw there was a door to the right up the ladder. That's the door that you can't get through from that side, and that's the door that there's a bonfire behind it.
Yeah.
So you could end up being there and not have to do this entire part if you do the Smelter demon.
Yeah. But of course you do want to do the Smelter demon. 1, more souls. 2, it's part of Lucatiel's quest, which we're going to do when we take on the Smelter demon. And of course that bonfire there makes it a lot easier to make it through to the last boss of this area as well, because it's a much closer checkpoint.
Yeah, exactly. So we've just cut out the loading screens just to keep the pacing up, but what you want to do is you want to just Homer bone back and then come back to Macduff's bonfire, which
is in the Lost Bastille. You have to blow open the wall using the barrel, light the torch, and he will sit here. Now all you need to do is talk to him, give him the ember, and the first thing we're going to do is get that halberd into a dark halberd.
Now also at this stage, we were telling you when and what you should be upgrading your equipment but now a lot of the enemies will drop upgrade materials and Titanite chunks and stuff, so from now on just upgrade your weapons pretty much as you can. You want to upgrade to the halberd fully straight away, and then you also want to secondarily upgrade the greatsword as much as you can, because that is going to be a useful weapon in the next part. And
of course buy the Royal Kite Shield. It is a 100% block shield for physical damage,
like the Dragon
It is lighter, and upgrades via regular Titanite, which makes it a little bit easier to upgrade.
Yeah.
Because Twinkling Titanite is a little bit harder to come across until a mana.
And we want to save the Twinkling Titanite for the Dragon exit.
That is also a very important part. So now we're back at Iron Keep with our brand new upgraded halberd.
And we should be doing considerably more damage to the enemies
we
in this
will
area.
be. Now, one thing about the halberd that you guys might notice, just because this will probably be the first time you're using it, is that it has a sort of different... its damage is weird, where sometimes you won't do max damage. What you have to do is try and judge your distance. You want to hit them with the actual axe head and not the pole, basically. Well, there's the black steel katana. But the actual halberd, if you two-hand it, you should be fine. You're still going to do some good damage regardless of what you do, but make sure you hit them with the axe head. And this is who I was talking about earlier on, Maggerald.
Now, just to quickly get out of the way, if you kill him, he will drop the covetous gold serpent ring +1. However, if you buy 10,000 souls worth of equipment off him, he will give you as well if you talk to him. So we're going to buy the Jester's gauntlets, a fragrant branch of yore,
and a firebomb, which is exactly like 10,100 or something.
Yep, and then now we're also going to use these spices. Now remember, we picked up these spices out of the game. Now these let you lower the requirements for certain spells.
You can make it as low as 10.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, if you do lower the requirement of spells, and you have less than the base stats that the spell wanted in the first place, it does reduce either the damage or the duration of the spell. So just keep that in mind. At one point we will have the original stats for Dark Weapon, but I mean, Dark Weapon gives the halberd such a high damage buff that even if it only lasts like 15 seconds, because we've spiced it down,
you'll get your use out of it.
You still get your use out of it because the halberd is a hard-hitting weapon. So don't worry about that.
Now, sadly, we can't use Dark Weapon until we do the Belfry Sol, which is coming up.
Yes.
Because that's the thing that gives us the last few spices that we need to use it.
Because we've only got 10 int and 10 faith.
Yeah. But we spice it down so it goes to 11-11, and then we use the Hexer's Hood, which boosts both of those stats by 1, which allows us to use Dart Weapon.
Now, what you want to do as well, by the way, is wear your Jester's gloves, because they have the same effect as the covetous Silver Serpent Ring, where you get increased soul gain, which is it's very handy because both of these effects stack. Not to mention, you're getting increased souls, you're wearing the Traveller's Cap, which means you're getting more item drops, which is life gems, armor, weapons. You can pretty much do whatever you like with just this setup. So yeah, just keep an eye on how many souls you're picking up, because you're going to be over leveled like we are if you're using our sort of setup, which is worth it.
So we're just fixing our equipment a little bit, so we're still under 70%. Like with the stuff that we've got, we're just mix and match, but we're still keeping, you know, to the Dragon Lake set, to the shield, to the halberd. That's kind of the main stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The other things are just small little differences in terms of just cutting a bit of weight on the shoes or whatever, because most of your defense is coming from the Dragon Lake set, so really it doesn't matter too much.
And at this point, we've taken off the Traveller's Cap so that we can go ahead and there you go, spin to win. That's why the halberd's a beast. We've put on the Hexer's Hood. Fuck.
Okay, so didn't die there. However, we
died here because lock on is why.
Yeah. So ignore that bit.
Lock on fucked me in the ass.
But here we are back. So, you know, I just cut that bit out. So now we're going to be doing the Smelter Demon with Lucatiel. Now remember, this is one of the 3 bosses that you can reasonably do Lucatiel's quest with. Again,
now you can anyway, because of the halberd.
Now again, the Rotten is completely pointless doing Lucatiel's quest because it's completely luck based whether she survives or not.
Yeah, the AI for the Rotten with Lucatiel is insane because there's flaming pits on the Rotten, and you know, it's just too hard to make sure Lucatiel doesn't burn herself to death. But this way, you can make Lucatiel survive.
And Lucatiel is very helpful doing the Smelter Demon. Now, I'm going to show you here how to do Smelter Demon alone if you can't be fucked doing it with Lucatiel. Now, the Smelter Demon is easily one of the harder bosses in the game. He is genuinely challenging because he has crazy hitboxes and is really quite aggressive.
He also has this special glitch where he has this thrusting attack that he does. If he hits you with it, like if you block it or if you dodge it, and like the hitbox can still drag you with it, by the way.
Yeah.
It can lock you into like this weird glitch where you're stuck against the wall. No, they didn't.
Anyway, so the Smelter Demon has 3 forms. Now, when you get him down to about a quarter health, he'll use Immolation on himself. So if you get close to him, he'll damage you.
Well, it's the first stage of his Immolation.
Yeah. And then when you get him down to 2/3 health, he'll then put his sword on fire as well, which means basically his attacks will always do damage through your block regardless, whereas at this stage you can block all of his attacks.
And bearing in mind as well that as you stand close to Smelter while he's in his second form or even his third sort of form, he's constantly doing chip damage to you because of Immolation. For those of you that don't know, Immolation is a self buff. What it does is it does damage over time to anyone in the nearby vicinity.
Pretty much if you're touching him. Just regardless, just if you're touching him.
You'll see here, like, the closer we get to him, now there's a few life gems active at the minute, so that doesn't matter. But you'll see that our health will, look, right now our health's going down and we're not being touched. That is because of Immolation, because we're getting close to the Smelter Demon.
Now, the Smelter Demon has an issue with hitboxes. As you can see, that I am constantly... Basically, you want to roll under his swings. Now, he's got 2 types of swings. One where he will swing from his right to the left. Now, if he's doing that, you want to run and roll under his right arm, but he's got another swing where he'll swing from
the other side,
the left to the right. Now, that case you want to roll under the other arm, otherwise the hitboxes are going to hit you, and the hitboxes can be such a pain because if he does go for his normal swing like this one, if you roll the other way, the hitbox pretty much will always get you regardless. Even if it didn't hit you, it will still technically hit you.
And when Smelter hits you, it does loads of damage. Now be careful with this as well. This looks like a good opportunity to attack. It isn't. It's his AoE is what he's setting up for.
Well, you can get a good hit in when he does it like once.
Yeah. That attack was the one I'm talking about, by the way, that can knock you into the walls.
Yeah.
You're saying they've patched it. I'm saying they've not because it happened to me yesterday.
Oh fuck. Right. Well, anyway, basically, this is your main option for healing at this point. This is when you want to go for it, and he will have another 3-hit combo where he will go swing, 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 and that's probably your best option for going in and hitting with your weapon. Otherwise, he's really aggressive and it's hard to get an opening.
But this is the one with Lucatiel, and of course, as ever, run in, open up with that halberd, spin to win, because he has a little delay before the fight begins.
Yeah.
Now, just so you know, you seen his AoE burst there from when he had his sword on the ground. He can do that without his sword on the ground. He can just do it.
That's only the blue smelter, by the way.
Is it only the blue?
Yeah, it's only the blue smelter that can do that.
No, fair enough then.
Right, so this attack here, see that slam attack? That is so incredibly hard to dodge.
Yeah.
It has retarded tracking and a really wide flat hitbox, so you kind of want to run behind him when he's winding up for it, because if you roll to the side, he'll still get you with it. And that is...
Look at that, you get hit by... That hit us there, even though we rolled through it, it still hit us.
But that was the wrong side that you rolled at. So.
No, it wasn't.
So as
he swung from his right and I rolled into the sword. But anyway, so as you can see, Lucatiel's taking aggro. Now, one of the main benefits of having Lucatiel here is, of course, she takes aggro.
Yeah.
Another benefit is that with both of you swinging at the Smelter, you can stun him a little quicker.
Not only
you might get lucky with the
Smelter the Smelter demon can be poisoned, so you may want to use poison arrows, whatever. You can take quite a while to poison, but it does do quite a decent amount of damage to him.
And if you've got a summon to take the aggro, it means you can get the poison on relatively safely.
Yeah.
Now, this is the AoE. Oh well, this is when he would do the AoE, just so you guys know. Sometimes he does it,
sometimes it doesn't.
Also, the AoE seems to have a random delay, where it's a case of sometimes it can come off pretty quickly, other times it can take a few seconds, like here, it takes a little bit longer than usual.
Generally, if he's got the sword in for longer, he's going to do the AoE.
Yeah, if he's got the sword in for longer than a second, it's AoE time.
However, we highly recommend using Lucatiel for the Smelter Demon because she really does help by taking all that aggro, because the Smelter Demon really is a highly aggressive boss, and if you can get to heal and just hit away at him as much as possible, then, you know, it's kind of worth it. So, there's another little hidden thing that a lot of people generally don't know. Now, if you go back into the Smelter Demon's room once you've...
Grab the porcelain shield,
which is garbage. It's such a shit shield.
Terrible. It's terrible.
There's no reason for ever using it.
But I mean, you do get flame butterflies, so woo.
So yeah, come down here. If you go into the boss room, there is a
pursuer.
Yep. So this is the second pursuer fight out of 3.
Now the difference between this pursuer and the other one is there is no difference, except this one drops Ring of Blades +1. And that's just an upgraded version of the Ring of Blades.
Now, we actually completely recommend doing this for a certain part of the game. If you either definitely want to get the Ring of Blades +1 off this, if you want to do one of the next bosses easier, or you want to farm a Fire Drake Stone off another enemy in this area, do one of the two. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a bit of a hard time when it comes to the Royal Rat Authority.
Now, just like the first pursuer, this one can also be parried. I missed the timing there. But you can of course parry the pursuer. Now this one actually does have the exact same effect as well, that it will curse you, and then pursuer will get buffed, and then pursuer can fire loads of little homing affinities at you and shit like that. So just bear in mind that if he does buff, then you want to stay as close to him as possible. If he goes for the homing dark soul mass thing, then just run to the side. If you just keep running away from it, then it won't catch up to you.
Now also remember that when it comes to the pursuer, you can pretty much just block and strafe to his left or your right around him, and he pretty much can't hit you. Yeah, shield side. Just block and strafe around his shield side, and you're pretty much safe. Like that is pretty much the strategy for the pursuer. As you can see, like it's quite hard for him to actually hit you if that's all you're doing. But he is quite tanky and can take a decent amount of damage at this stage for some reason.
There are quite a lot of bosses, or rather enemies in this game, that seem to always attack from the right side round, and it seems like there is an over-glaring weakness for the majority of the enemies in this game, where you just go to your right and they can't hurt you.
Or even just like obviously
even
the Smelter Demon, it was the left, but in this case, like pretty much all you need to do is just strafe around the enemies. There's no really much other strategy. But
you would think they would put some left-handed bosses in the game. Yeah. But I mean, these are all right-handers, and at the moment we're currently being shot at by the Alone Captain as well, the one with the great bow.
Which was a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, that made this fight a lot tougher than it had to be.
Now, not only this, if you run into that room at the back there, the pursuer will actually chase you for a little bit and then just fade away. Now, if you
leave the Smelter Demon boss room, the pursuer buggers off.
But you can come back and do it if you just rest at the bonfire.
If you die and you come back, the pursuer, you can fight him again. So don't worry if he kills you. You can just come back, collect your souls, try again. There is really no reason not to do this if you do want the Ring of Blades +1. Then,
which you do.
Which you really would do, because it helps. I mean, we're going to be using weapons to take down Crystal Lizards. Ring of Blades +1, because they're uninfused weapons, it means they'll get the full 30 damage bonus, which is kind of worth it.
Yeah, you'll see why we're using them like, you know, as we go along. So
Yeah.
this is us at
The-
like the second bonfire. This is the bit just above the stairs, the ladder that you saw last
with
time.
the Alone Captain just outside the actual kiln in the middle of Iron Keep. So at this point, because we beat the boss, we're just going to go ahead and pop the remaining soul packets we've got, level up some more before we move on and take on the next boss of the area, who is the Old Iron King.
Now remember that because we soul vesseled in the last part, we do technically have less health and endurance than what we started off with going
But
into that.
we have much higher damage, and the weapons we've got are sort of a little bit more adaptable to each situation, which is really good.
Now, I mean, really for this part of the game, you've actually still got a decent amount of health and endurance compared to what other builds might require.
Yeah, like sorcerers, for instance, you need to invest so much in intelligence that you're not gonna have anywhere near this amount of health for this area if you're wanting to use a decent weapon anyway. But yeah, I mean that's just the way some builds go. But we were sitting at 35 health, which is really usually what I have minimum for PvP in general.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. Now what we're gonna do is advance our way through the rest of the area. Now, the reason why we're doing this with the bow is that we were trying to see if we could pull this off, where we bait out the first one, and then the second one may not break the floor, but I think he's going to head and doing it anyway.
Yeah, like basically the enemy behind us, he'll hit the floor with his hammer and he'll knock a chunk out of it that you need to jump over.
Yeah.
It does it regardless, but it's really not an issue. Now, these guys are Ironclad, warriors or soldiers, regardless.
Soldiers.
Now, they can drop the Ironclad set,
Which is they drop the actual Ironclad set, not the old Ironclad one like the guys in Forest. There aren't very many differences between the two sets, just one is more shiny and I think the stats are a little different.
Yeah, very slightly, but they're still fairly decent aside from being retardedly heavy.
Yeah, we're 3-hit killing them, so I mean you can easily farm these guys for Fire Drake Stone or large Titanite shards as well.
Now you may you might want to actually farm them for a Fire Drake Stone, because this is the earliest point in the game that you can actually get one, and that means you can make a fire weapon, which may or may not be useful later on.
And once again, you need to go through a Pharaoh's contraption just so you can access another Belfry.
Yeah.
Which I'm really not pleased about, to be honest.
So right now we are heading to the Belfry Sol, which is obviously like an integrated part of this. Now this is a completely optional area and you don't need to do it, but it does have those spices that we need, hence why we want to go there. And at the end of it, there's like some pretty decent items, so you know you might as well do it because it only takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean you shouldn't have too much trouble. If you're playing this in online, you're going to have a little bit more trouble because it's a Belfry, which means that there's going to be Bell Keepers.
Yeah.
And it means you're going to have to put up with some Grey Phantoms in the Covenant if you are playing it online. So I mean we suggest going into offline mode for this area. It just makes it a little bit easier. Once again, the little dwarf guy's there so you can join the Covenant. And we're fighting more of these little dwarves again. Now, there is nothing different about these guys. The Bell Keeper, apparently they can drop Flame Swathe and Fire Whip, but I'm not 100% sure. And the Bell Keeper Mage as well can apparently drop the Black Witch's Veil, but I'm sure that's an NPC Phantom and not this one.
No, I'm pretty sure it's her.
Really? Because she's not wearing the Black Witch's Veil?
I don't know. This is how you get the Black Witch's Veil and the Black Witch Domino Mask. Honestly, the information that we've had off this is kind of sketchy, but I'm pretty sure you can get it off her. And there's another one which has the dual Avalons, which is the one where you get the Domino Mask from, which is a retardedly rare drop.
And we somehow got it, did we not?
I think we do get it.
Either this or the test footage. We definitely got it when we were doing the guide. I know that for a fact.
And it was off the dual Avalons one, so that's definitely where you get that.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a Phantom in here, which is the Mage, which I'm sure is the one that we just fought there, which can drop the Black Witch Veil.
Spitfire Spear.
Now, I'm pretty sure all these guys will respawn if you go to a bonfire.
They do.
So you can farm these guys essentially for these things.
And apparently they drop rusted coins as well. That isn't even mentioned. So there you go. These guys drop rusted coins too. Now, I mean, we could mention it now, but we're not 100% sure about the information when it comes to the Mad Warrior that's in the area.
If you join the
Covenant...
What
the wikis say is that if you join the Covenant, there is a 1 in 5 chance that the Mad Warrior will invade. And when the Mad Warrior invades, you kill him and he might drop some of his armour. It's like incredibly difficult, but he doesn't stop spawning.
Yeah.
So it means that if you don't get his armour, then you just go to the bonfire, warp from that bonfire to the same bonfire because the game lets you do that, and then just keep doing that until they invade you and until you get his full armor set. Apparently he won't stop spawning,
and that's
but we're
the
not
Mad
sure.
Warrior set, and he
Yeah.
will also drop the Berserker Blade, which is the only place where you can get that as
Yeah.
well, apparently.
Yeah.
But
No, not anymore. Not anymore. You can get it from the oh no, wait, the Berserker Blade, you can only get it from him. But you can get other parts of the Mad Warrior set from the second DLC where all the Prowlers invade. They drop it.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that they do that. I'm pretty sure they drop the Berserker Blades as well.
Well,
So,
there you go then. So there is an alternate route, and there are far more Prowlers as well. Like they're
Yeah.
a guaranteed spawn. There's like 10 of them.
But that's neither here nor there.
And
we'll
that's
get
the
to that in
that's the
DLC.
Avalon guy. It was the other footage.
Ah.
Damn it. But yeah, the Black Witch Domino Mask, I can't remember what it does. It's like, it's spell buff, isn't it?
It increases your spell damage by like 5% or something, and it makes you take more damage.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's kind of decent.
It's a
if you're-
Crown of Dusk again.
Yeah, essentially.
It's not half bad. It's not half bad.
So we actually run about here looking for the Red Phantom, which spawned, which actually spawned near the bell lever thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's the way the Belfry works, that when you pull the bell lever, it raises the gate, and then immediately a Phantom invades.
Yeah.
Immediately. So, but I mean, that's something we'd rather cover more in depth in a Covenant video.
Yeah,
than
again,
really
obviously,
like
this area and the Covenant itself will be covered more in depth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just to quickly...
There it is, the
just to
Red
briefly
Phantom
go over it,
Bellkeeper.
If you do join the Covenant, then you level up by wearing the ring and invading people, kind of like the Cat Covenant in Dark Souls 1, and then you'll get certain rewards.
This is who you're talking about, by the way. Like the notes when you're saying Bellkeepers can drop Fire Whip and Flameswith, it's this guy you're talking about. This is the Bellkeeper Phantom who uses Pyromancy. So I mean, apparently this guy drops Fire Whip, but he definitely drops Flameswith, and it still drops Rusted Coins as well. I assume they would drop some of their armor set as well.
They don't. That's the Bellkeeper armor, and you get that from joining the Covenant.
From joining the Covenant, right? No worries. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want it anyway, like a fucking hobbit.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, who likes short shots?
I don't in this game.
No, never. So that's Simpleton Space. Once again, we need that because it lowers intelligence requirement, which is what we need to do. Because you get more Skeptic Space than Simpleton Space throughout the game up until this point.
Yeah.
But thankfully, this area gives us just enough that we can lower Dark Weapon to the point of it's usable on our character. And this is another one of these Great Sword, Great Shield guys that you've seen in Undead Purgatory.
And
that
like
you've seen
2
us take
seconds ago.
out 2 seconds ago. Yeah, really easy to get the backstab on them. The backstab box for these guys is kind of weird, but a little bit of practice and you pretty much nail it. But moving quite along, we're actually almost finished with the Belfry already.
Yeah, it's just the last few Bellkeepers to go, and then that's us.
Last few Bellkeepers to go, a couple of drops here and there. That's pretty much it now. These guys here, with the halberd, they are relatively easy. Just keep them at distance. Try and get them with the axe handle. You kill them in like 2 or 3 swings usually, so don't worry about it, guys. You can't backstab them.
Yeah, too small to backstab.
Yep. You can parry, but I don't think you can riposte them because they're too small.
Anyway, so in here, I think is Immolation.
Yeah.
I may or may not
It should be some sort of fire
Immolation.
weapon. Yeah. Simulation. So
Memory
there's some
on
sort of
point.
pyromancy.
And there's an item here behind the stairs as well.
Yep. Human effigy and trotches. Now, trotches are...
That's the one which increases your petrify resistance, I'm sure.
Yeah. Trotches are like the burrs, but for status effects.
Now, there's an invisible wall here, or an action wall.
Is this not Firestorm or something?
Maybe. I know there's a
I think
Black Knight
it's
weapon.
another pyromancy. Yeah, this is the Black Knight Greatsword, yeah. I think it is Firestorm. I can't remember, but I know there is another pyromancy in this area, is it not? Not just Immolation. No, it was Protective Chime and Grand Spirit Tree Shield.
Okay, so now we can continue on with the rest of Ironkeep. As you see, it just loops straight back to here. Now, if you... Okay, clearly there's a reason for us coming back
There
here.
wasn't, I fucked it up. There wasn't, I just accidentally fell onto the bonfire again.
Great.
So try not to do that, because you can just climb back down that ladder and proceed on back the way you came. But yeah, so we need to now work our way back, but it's the exact same thing once again. This will actually give us a chance to see if we can get an Ironclad Night drop as well, which would be handy.
Remember, this is all post-commentary, so we can't quite remember what it is.
No,
that we've
like
done.
this is what, maybe a third into the actual game.
Yeah, so we recorded this like a month ago, if that.
Exactly. We've played 2/3 of the game after recording this, so forgive us if our memory isn't, you know, like 2020 vision sort of shit. But you know, whatever. Moving along quite quickly because we've actually got a little bit more of this area to go. Now, what you've seen us do before we hit the Belfry is that we pulled a lever, and the reason for doing that is that there's a sort of platform that's like right in front of you here when you come out. You want to drop that because there's like
2 Ironclad Knights, or there's like a certain amount of Ironclad Knights in the middle of the floating platform up to your left here.
Yep, so you pull that lever, it drops that platform into the lava, and what that actually does as well is it gives you, yeah, look, you'll see it here. We're going to drop that. For some reason he's here. I have no idea why, it just is.
Now there's a crystal lizard coming up here, and you want to obviously equip your crystal lizard killing
utensils.
Yeah.
AKA the large club.
Now it's just behind here, and you want to quickly run up to it and just smash it and
give it the slam jam, and there you go. It's large titanite chunk, twinkling titanite.
Now the titanite chunk is specifically handy. You may want to go back now and upgrade your halberd if you can.
Yeah, with the titanite chunk. I believe at this point you guys should probably have a halberd that is at least the same level as ours anyway.
So at least +7, +8 if something may or may not have dropped a titanite chunk before this point.
Now just so you guys are aware, there is another couple of items like down here as well. Do not touch these floor traps, they start spewing lava out of the vents on the left, and it just makes this a little bit more annoying to work with because you have to then jump over them, and you know, it's just it's more pain than what it's worth.
And down those stairs leads to another lava item, which again we'll get to at the end of the video.
Yeah, so now you need to be careful as well. Like these platforms here, there is like a grid alongside of it that you can see here. There's floor traps on them which drop the actual floor.
Yeah.
You'll see us do it here. Kill this Alone Knight, make quick work of him. And there is one for each and every single platform has this. Now, you see that little platform there on the left that leads to the ladder? You can't get that unless you drop the floor. So you have to like drop the floor, and you have to go through the sort of this is the platform that has the 2 fire-breathing statues. You have to drop it to that platform so you can go up that ladder, because there is more up that way that you want to get.
Yeah. Now we're going to quickly show you where this leads to. Now here there's like the stairs that lead down to the boss, there's those beams across the ceiling, and there's a big pot of lava. Now essentially the map loops back round to here, so you could come this way and miss the items, or you could go the way we're going to go and get the items.
So if you're not interested in item locations or anything like that, just proceed down that way or skip ahead a little bit into the video. I think we get there in about maybe 5-10 minutes at most. Skip a little bit ahead into the video and you can see what happens instead of going that way. Now, chest here. Don't play Mimic Roulette because you'll lose.
It's an actual mimic.
It is a mimic. It's the first steel chest mimic in the game that we're going to run into. And it drops the dark armor.
Yep.
And it was a lightning wing spear, so Shades of Sen Fortress, anyone with a lightning spear in the basement in the mimic chest again?
Getting that vibe.
Definitely, and of course destructive great arrows. These are hilarious in PvP. If you get anyone turtling behind a shield, just fire a few of them, that'll stop them turtling right away. If they're going to back up and turtle so you can't guard break them, then that is my go-to. Just pull out the great bow and just boom boom boom.
So there's another Faris contraption that we just don't want to use because again,
it's just a water contraption again,
which pretty much does nothing at this stage. We want to keep our Faris stones for things that give us items.
Yep.
And again, you know, we'll show you what maybe the slightly more significant ones that don't give you items do at the end of the video, but otherwise we're just going to proceed on.
At this point, this is just getting the last of the items that are up here. I'm sure it's another Black Knight's weapon or something like that.
I think it might be Black Knight Ultra Great Sword. I don't know.
I mean, probably. We did get the Black Knight Great Sword, which is undoubtedly far superior to the Black Knight Ultra. Anyway, the Black Knight Great Sword just has it's just a much better moveset.
Yeah, most
it's much easier to work
with
with
in this game anyway.
Yeah, most Ultra Great Swords you have to play quite smart with.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate because they are high damage. But yeah, Black Knight Great Axe it was.
Ah, there we go.
Which is still bad.
And there's another spice, just for good measure.
Yep, now this is more of that lovely Yawn Dark Souls platforming that we were talking about. It's actually quite simple to do this. You don't need the silver cat ring, nothing like that. You'll be fine, trust us. And that's from Cracked Orb, was that?
Yeah, I think so.
And a torch. You know, just in case somebody left it lying around. Now, this actually stumped us in the blind run. We didn't know where to go. There's an item in that pot. That is your hint. You need to drop onto the edge of the pot.
Yep.
So be very careful here. It is a bit of a testy, and it is the covetous gold serpent ring anyway.
But we got the +1 version just like literally at the beginning of the video, so you know it's kind of a pointless item. And as you can see, this is us back to where we were.
Yep. So we're just going to basically show you this room so you guys have got your bearings again.
So it all loops back on each other, and now we are off to the run to the boss.
This corridor that we're coming up to may get you guys a couple of times, not going to lie, because it's got an Ironclad Knight. It's a very, very, very narrow corridor. So it's difficult to dodge them. Now, those of you that are a little bit more experienced with Dark Souls can probably get your iframe timing down so you can just roll through their attack right in front of them. and you'll be fine. But two-hand that halberd, you'll take them down in 3 hits, and then just move on. Large Titanite shards. There you go.
So as you can see, what happened there was you hit them once, and then you roll away, and then you should be able to hit them again with 1, 2 as they're charging up the next attack, and then that should kill them.
Now there is actually another way to take out this one. That is, you can bait them back to that little door that you've just that little contraption you just lifted. If you get them right under that, and you just find a way to keep them there, when the door comes back down, it'll insta kill them.
Yeah.
Which is quite handy. Now, don't grab this item. Not yet. You can get this item literally 30 seconds from now.
Because there's a switch that will turn off all the fire
idols.
Yeah, all the fire statues in this area, which is obviously something you want to do.
And it also is conveniently located right next to a bonfire, right before the last boss in this area. Again, there's always a bonfire before the fucking boss, and it's stupid.
In this area, I'm quite thankful for that. Really,
we could have. I mean, well, 3S this. Yeah, I mean, you could. That's the boss room down there.
We missed this bonfire
on the blind room. We completely missed the ladder.
Yeah,
like completely.
It does blend in with the wall, although
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, it is just get your bearings again. It's very, very easy to get lost in this area, because of all the corridors and shit. I don't think we even used the bonfire because we don't really have that much trouble with this boss in general.
I'm not sure what it is. I can't quite remember what we do. Maybe we do. I think we're going back up now.
I think it was like deciding, are we going to use it? Yes, no, and then it was like 3 Estus, so yeah, we'll use it.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, it's not going to make a difference because between here and the boss, there is only one Ironclad Knight, so regardless of that, we're going to have to fight him because we've not killed him anyway.
So apparently we're going back to Medulla now.
Probably.
And we do have a lot of souls, so
yeah, we do have a lot of souls. Time to level up, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Because we grabbed a couple of soul packets while we were going through the other areas of Iron Keep before we hit that bonfire.
Yeah. Now, not only that, there's another item that we're going to collect when we go back from Medulla, and that's a key to another area. Now, if you've been watching the guide, there's a key near the first boss, near the last giant boss.
It's right outside the boss fog. There is a hollow wielding the S-Stock and shield is guarding a door. Now you can't access that door until you've done what we've just done, where we've turned off the flaming statues in Iron Keep, because there is a key right at the beginning, at the first flaming idol you see in the Iron Keep. There is a key right there, and that is the one you need to open the door. Even though the description says it opens a door in the Iron Keep, it's a fucking lie. It's for Forest of the Fallen Giants, trust me.
Now, admittedly, you can pick up the key if you just stack on Hunters of Fire defense, but whatever.
You won't have that at this stage in the game anyway. You won't have enough fire.
Well, you do have the Hexel set, so you actually might be able to pick it up.
And it won't be fully upgraded. Not by this point in the game. That's too much twinkling time.
That doesn't matter. Just pick up, roll away. Regardless, it doesn't matter. This is just generally what's intended for you to pick up. So we're just going to show you the normal, politically correct methods first, and go into the rest later.
We'll show you the one that's going to keep you alive.
But
two shot and alone nights, exactly as anticipated.
Now, we're not going to show you that particular area in this video because it is actually a really hard area, and we want to be
a higher level, definitely.
Yeah. So when we come back to that area, then we'll talk about it. Yep. So now we're going to spice down the last of
the dark weapon. We're going to bring that down. We actually bring it down to 10-10, just because we can bring it down as quickly as we possibly fucking can. Why not? But the point is, now that we have that spice down, we can use that with our halberd, and it means that we can buff it for the boss fight.
Yep.
Now that's quite handy.
Now you should have the stats to use the sorcerer's staff. You'll need to take off a few bits of equipment. You might want to just take off the bow or whatever, but regardless, we've kept it all on. Just cut down a bit of weight. The Hexel's set seems to be quite good for cutting down weight.
Hexel set is all very, very light, and actually for its weight, it does have some pretty nice stats.
Yeah.
For its weight, so you can't
it's
really
retardedly good fire defense. Nothing has better fire defense in the game.
Alone Captain armor has better fire defense.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't.
It must.
It doesn't.
It must.
The Hexel set has better defense than it. I think the Penal Mask has better defense than the
Hexel
head, but that's it. Anyway, so we've went back to this bonfire now. Now
of course, because it's closest to the boss.
Yeah, now that we picked up the key, now that we spiced down Dark Weapon and we can use it.
We've turned off the idol, so now you can pick up this, the Lightning Shortbow +3.
Now, we've already got a slightly upgraded shortbow, but this will obviously do slightly more damage.
Yeah.
But whatever. We actually need the non-upgraded shortbow for a part later on, which is kind of weird how it worked out. But yeah.
It's just a case of this is a lightning shortbow. The enemies that we're trying to kill seem to take less damage from lightning than the damage output we're going to use.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this Ironclad Knight is a bit of a dick. He's very hard to dodge because you're dodging backwards upstairs, and what that means is it makes actually how far you roll away from him. It
Slightly
makes that
shorter.
distance shorter because of the gradient on the stairs.
Because of Pythagoras.
Yes. If you don't know what that is, then go back to fucking school. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So just be a little bit more cautious with him. You can beat him up into the idol room, but for some reason he's been a bit of a dick, and he was just like, no, I'm not fucking going in there. You go in there, and you know. And
So,
this is the boss.
This is us fighting Lava Anus, and now
Smelter Demon 2.0.
He used to be retardedly easy, but he actually got quite a bit.
His
more
tracking
difficult.
was improved, his damage was improved.
He moves a bit more.
Yeah, more of his moves knock you into this little lava pit at the back of the arena.
Yeah, that's pretty much what makes this actually difficult. Now,
That little lava pit in the middle of the arena is the actual boss. This is just merely a distraction.
yeah, like that is actually
That one right there.
Like, avoid that pit at all costs.
This, by the way, is your safe zone, unless he uses that attack. That attack right there will knock you back. That cuts through walls and shit, and it can hit twice for whatever reason.
He also has another fire breath attack that can sometimes glitch through the wall as well.
That is why it's your safe spot, because that has like a little barrier thing for some reason.
Sometimes it's actually really bad because
There's why that is actually the boss and not the boss is the boss. You know what I mean?
So we actually do it this time. Honestly, sometimes it can be just trial and error. You just fuck up once and it happens. Like
There is a way where you can make him do only physical attacks. If you stand in front of him, but like right in front of him, not right up at the edge of the platform, just like a back step away from the edge right in front of him, then he will only do melee attacks. Like he'll only swing his hands, that's it. And you just basically reset there all the time. Like run about the distance I'm at right now. Now be careful, because every time he pulls he attacks with his right hand first, 9 times out of 10 he follows up with the left.
And then that's the one that you want to hit.
Yes.
You just pretty much need to bait him into physical attacks, and then you know,
so
just
because we get a bit of a distance there,
arms.
he's went for his more ranged attacks and his fire attacks. You want to try and avoid that shit. And of course the Dark Halberd, chopping away at him, no problem at all. And we're going to buff again because we've got 5 casts of Dark Weapon.
Now, pretty much, see this fire spray attack here. That can actually be
his most lethal attack.
Yeah,
it can kill you. Like right there, we almost get killed by it again.
I mean, pretty much just use this for things that you don't want to be doing against this particular guy. Just try and get close to him and just bait him into physical attacks, because
this is what we're talking about, where he can be a lot more trial and error than anything else. And of course, if you stay away from him for too long, he dives under the lava. You can control where he jumps up. Just he will pop up again at the edge that you are nearest to. So because we were sort of sitting in the same place from when he went down, he just popped back up again. But if, for instance, we moved slightly more to the right, then he would have popped up like right in front of us.
Yeah.
Now, once he goes down to about half health, about 40% health, he's able to then like basically buff his attacks with fire. And this does make him do an amazing amount more damage, as well as every single time he hits you, he knocks you as much as it is. That extra damage plus the knockdown makes him quite formidable sometimes. So just be careful. Now, this fire breath attack here, by the way, where it's the slightly slower fireballs, you can actually roll between them if you're feeling so, like, I don't know, maybe daring or whatever. You can roll between them, but I would advise against it. You do need to have at least some points invested, like right there. You probably want to try that with points invested in adaptability, so you actually have more than just one iframe or something, I don't know. But it is reasonably easy if you can get him in this sort of melee loop.
Yeah.
Then he's not a challenge at all. I think most of his attacks you can just walk under.
Honestly, it's better when he moves over to that end there. Like when he moves over.
It's
to the
better
left
when
end.
he's right in the middle. See when he's right in the middle, you've got left and right to roll between. If you just stay in front of him, then he only does melee. Then it means you've got the entire platform to roll left and right with.
I mean, I guess
which makes it a lot easier. Fighting without lock on also can be a little bit easier because it doesn't like change your roll angle randomly. So I mean that may be something you guys might want to consider as well.
Now we picked up Sublime Bone Dust there, and obviously that will increase our Estus.
That gives us that +3 Estus.
So really, I'd say this the old Iron King is pretty much the equivalent of like, what do you call it? The Bed of Chaos. That's like the Bed of Chaos version sort of boss in this game. Now here we are mauling. Now this is because we have beat the Smelter Demon. That's the first armor set that he will sell.
Yeah.
that's a boss armor set, so we're now going to show what Marlon does.
You
We're
need
going
to spend 16,000 to get access to his boss armor, so we're going to buy 16 chest pieces that cost 1,000 each.
Yeah.
We need to kill ourselves so that our soul count drops down to 0, so we can get the armor of Horus off of him.
Yeah.
And that pretty much takes care of everything to do with Moglin and one swift move.
I mean, essentially that's it. Like, you obviously... We are not saying go and buy all this shit off them, because we're doing this simply to show you. Now, if you take into account the amount of souls that you would save by not doing the things that we only do to show you, you would be at an even higher level at this point.
And we're already at least 5 levels higher than most.
15 levels higher.
15 levels higher than the recommended for every area.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't rest at Majula, so that's why we ended up back here. But I mean, that's only one more loading screen, don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah, so remember to rest at Majula before you decide to kill yourself.
Go back, grab the soul packet, talk to Moglin. He'll now be sitting there as if he's fucking Swagmeister 3000.
Yep.
Talk to him with 0 souls, sorry, don't grab your soul packet, 0 souls, and then he'll be like, oh wow, I pity the poor, shit like that, and then you can get the armour of Horus off of him. Now, he does sell a lot of different boss armour. Now, you may not be interested in boss armour, but at the end of the game then, even, just for curiosity's sake, go ahead, spend the 16,000 souls, and that's you. You can have a look and see what you want to get.
Yeah, so if you spend 1,000 souls, he'll upgrade his actual armour set, like the amount that he actually gives. He'll then give you the Royal Soldier armour and the Elite Knight armour. If you spend
It'll be available to buy.
You spend 16,000 souls, he'll then have the Alva armour, and then
after beating certain bosses, you'll then be able to buy their armour as well.
Yeah, so you can buy the Smelter Demons, the Looking Glass Knights, Lost Sinners, Velstads, the Throne Watcher and Defender, and he'll also sell the Moon Butterfly hat. And
he'll sell the entire Moon Butterfly set once you beat every single boss in the game on at least NG+2, which is Bonfire Intensity 3.
Yeah, so that's
so you won't get that in this guide anyway. You won't get the Butterfly set.
He'll also drop the Seldora set as well,
which also increases the amount of souls that you gain per kill. But you don't need to worry about that because you've already got Jester's Gloves and Covet Silver Serpent Ring. So you're fine, So at this point, just use the last of your souls to level up, upgrade your Estus, burn your Bone Dust, just basically wrap up the end of the character, because that is pretty much all we're going to do for Iron Keep with this build. But now what we are going to do is go ahead and show you how to pick up all the items that were on the lava platform, I believe. So these are the build stats. Now, there's a few specific techniques that you need to do before... so here's Rosabeth. Now, we've not actually shown you Rosabeth. Now, we're gonna... First of all, you want to buy... I've mixed up these bits of footage, but it's just switched around. Now, you want to buy Flash Sweat Offer, and you also want to buy the Flame Quartz Ring if you don't have it. And for those of you that don't know, to get Rosabeth, you got to go to Shaded Woods. Oh, no, we've got the footage. You've got the footage there? Yeah. Right, cool. So, it says here that we're going to go Iron Keep right now, but it will actually take us to the Shaded Woods. Because you've mixed up the footage. Yeah. Okay, so now to get Rosabeth, what you want to do is, now remember, you pick up Flash Sweat and the Flame Quartz Ring Offer. Now, yeah, but this is how you get her before you can buy anything. So this is actually on the way to Shaded Woods, but she's on this way, so it is off the beaten path to get her. Like there is this. Yeah. This is kind of what you need to do if you want to do this. Talk to Benhart. That starts his quest line as well, just while you're here. Yeah. It's life gems, homeward bones. Don't worry about that. That's not a problem. We're just gonna grab the shit that's here anyway. Just because we're going to get it at some point anyway, and we'd rather these guys don't attack us when we're speaking to Rosabeth. Now, there's actually a reason why we bought the Fragrant Branch of Yore from Magirold, and it's for this, because you need to Fragrant Branch of Yore Rosabeth, and buying the one off Magirold means you're one Fragrant Branch up compared to what you were previously. So, it means that getting Rosabeth is free. Now, don't hit her. I accidentally dropped the controller. And now what you want to do is you want to just talk to her, and then you need to give her a bit of equipment, so just give her the imported set or some shit like that. And then she'll then go back to Majula once you've rested. Where you can buy the Flame Quartz Ring and Flash Sweat. Yeah. Now you've already got a Pyromancy Glove which you got from beating the Flexel Sentry, which kind of means that you have to beat Flexel Sentry to do this at this point in the game. Yeah, I guess so. But don't worry, so you're just going to put on your most flame retardant armour, which is the Hexel set. Guarantee it's the Hexel set. Now ours is maxed out. For whatever reason, the chest is maxed out. I don't know why. Was it? Yeah, it was Hexels +5. But even when it isn't, you can still do this, guys. Do not worry. Yeah, you can do it. It may be a case of it might take you a couple of extra tries, but you can do it. Trust us. Put on your Flame Quartz Ring. You want to get as much health as possible and as much fire resistance as goddamn possible. I don't know why you're taking off Life Ring. I didn't. I took off that. So. Oh yeah, you can take off Royal Soldier's Ring now because you're not going to need it.
Yes.
You've went past the
yeah, I went
flame
past
quartering.
There we go. Finally got it.
Holy mother of God, you're bad at inventory.
Yep. So now I'm going to put the Pyromancy Flame on, and you'll see that the amount of damage that you take from the lava pits is...
Laughable.
Yeah.
Now is laughable. It would kill you in about maybe 3 seconds.
Now, there is more to it because some of the lava blocks are actually longer, especially the last one, and there's a further technique that you need to employ to actually get over them, which obviously I'll show you.
So the first thing we're going to do as well is we're going to get rid of Dark Weapon and put on that Yawn Flash Sweat, because it is actually one of the better things that you could do. Now, if you guys have the DLC and you've not grabbed these items but you've already beaten the game, then with the DLC, the Forest Mask is another way to reduce your fire defense, but that's a DLC item. It's Blue Smelter you beat to get that, yeah?
Yeah.
Beat Blue Smelter in the Old Iron King DLC, and the Forest Mask just basically shrouds you in water permanently.
So, coming up to this next run, now as you can see, there's a gap between the first non-on-fire floating rock and the second one. Now, you don't need to jump to that. You can actually just run across that, which makes it so much easier for timing your jumps for this one, because it doesn't mean you need to jump and roll and you might end up falling off.
Yeah. Now, this is a difficult one here because you have to loop back around before you can jump again.
Yeah.
And it's all for a fucking bonfire aesthetic.
Yeah, so you might not even want to do that.
Yeah.
And then, personally, we just use a bonfire, a homeward bone to go back to the bonfire, because we can't be fucked doing the jump back.
And if you don't have a homeward bone, you can buy them from Sweet Shalquar and Medulla for 500 each or something.
Yeah, she has a couple, which we never use.
She sells them infinitely.
So now here's the second one. Now this leads to the Phoenix Parma, which is a
fire retardant shield.
Yeah, so we never even really use it, but regardless,
Nah,
we're going to
show you it's not that great. There are better shields, but I mean the Phoenix Parma is a good one. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those shields that has that really fast parry window, like the buckler parry.
Now,
which is really cool.
If you use Flash Sweat and if you do this stuff, you'll have just enough time to grab it and run back. But if you want some extra time to get it, then there is another thing that you can do. And the video will soon transition back to us showing you how to do it. Okay, here we are. Right, we're up at the top here where there was that Faris contraption where you got the dull ember.
You can use this. It'll spit out water, and when you're covered in water, you take less damage from fire, but more damage from lightning. So, of course, covering yourself in water and then hitting yourself with Flash Sweat, you want to roll around in it as well. Make sure you do roll in it. You want to be as wet as fucking possible, basically.
If that even changes things, but
it does. It does. If you roll in it, then it makes you wet. In the same way that if you're covered in oil and you walk through the water, it doesn't remove it. But as soon as you roll in the water, it removes the oil immediately.
Ah, okay.
You do want to roll in the water to get the full effect. Now, this water effect lasts a little bit of time, so you want to be as quick as you can, get your Flash Sweat on, everything like that, and then just bolt for the item.
And again. You take you're practically invincible to fire damage.
He's just standing on it now at this point. This is with Flash Sweat and everything like that. Now, it did break our ring, so be careful.
So here we are at the Mimic. Now, there's these pots here. Now, these pots have actually got water in them. Now, there's a weird thing going on. It's like, I don't know if it's a glitch or I might be doing something wrong, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Is if you go down the ladders, it seems to take the water off you for some reason. This has happened to me twice. So, fuck going down the ladders. I might be wrong, I might not be, but as you can see, I've went down them and then I'll go onto the fire rocks. I've been covered in water. You saw my footprints, so I've got the watery footprints, but for some reason,
yeah, and you seen what it done last time. It reduced the damage to nothing.
Yeah, but you'll see what it does now.
The damage from the lava was less than poison, and that's laughable. But of course, you should still have the water effect on. Yeah, no questions.
Definitely should.
Boom. What's with the damage? Do not use the ladder. The ladder. There is no other thing that we can think of that is causing this issue.
I may or may not have forgot to put Flash Sweat on. I think that's what it does done. I
think you did.
I don't think I did. Right, so ignore what just happened there. Remember to put Flash Sweat on. That's probably why it didn't work, if anyone can confirm that. But regardless, you've got Flash Sweat on, you've went through the pots.
You can just do this anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this isn't really a huge issue grabbing this. Now this is a difficult one because of how long the platform is. You gotta be quick.
Well, you take like no damage, so it doesn't really matter.
When the water and Flash Sweat wear off, you're gonna die immediately.
They last so long, by the way.
I know, but that's Chaos Storm, and then you've actually still got enough time with Flash Sweat and the water effect to run back here and grab this as well, which is Fire Seed, which upgrades your Pyromancy Flame. But that's it for Iron Keep, guys. So as ever, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new. Click the box on the left for the last episode, which was everything we were doing before Iron Keep.
Which is like some NPC quests and some preparation.
It's a 15-minute episode, guys. The next episode is where we're going to take on the Belfry and Sinners.
Yep.
So expect that in probably tomorrow, something like that. Now, as ever, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch links are on screen, and if you want to, there is a donation link down below. If you do donate, let us know in the comments section, so we can, of course, thank you for it at the earliest convenience we've got.
Yeah.
And, of course, you don't have to donate if you don't want to, guys. Like, view, comment, anything like that. It's more than enough, guys. We're not asking you guys to donate, just so you know. But that's it, really, for this video. As ever, if we've missed anything, which I don't think we did, if we have, let us know. We'll annotate it in the correct point of the video, just so we can let everyone know.
Yeah. But
I don't think we missed anything.
So,
I don't see us missing anything.
That'll be it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative, and we'll see you in Sinner's Rise and Belfry Luna.
See you guys later.